right, welcome back, everybody, for a new episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are probably still tucked away in those boxes at your LCS. These aren't the Hot 10 books. These aren't the books that everybody's chasing. These are some kind of undervalued, underpriced, forgotten about type books, and just things that I find personally interesting that I want to share with you and the rest of the community. Just things to kind of keep an eye out for, because I think they're either cool books or they're books that are generally, like I said, underpriced out there that you could probably grab for cheaper than you think when you actually hit your shops. That all said, hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Check out our memberships, as we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything pretty soon, and maybe some other special members-only videos very, very soon, as I'm trying to roll out some new segments. If you've noticed, I'm trying to roll out a few new toy segments, doing some things with shorts, of which we have a new short dropping every day, so make sure you're checking those out as well. And I'm playing around with some other ideas, maybe even around some video games. So hopefully you're on board for that. Let me know what you think, like I said, in the comments. But if you want to see what books I have for you this week, including some books that don't actually exist, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so I know I just kind of teased our new That Should Be a Cover segment here on the show, which we will get to. But before we get to that, much like last week, we are going to start with a quick artist retrospective. This is going to be a quick rundown of a particular artist, and maybe we will hit up some this artist's work to make up some faux covers, some fake covers that I think should exist somewhere out there. That said, if you're curious about the artist, or if you missed it on the thumbnail, who we're talking about this week, I believe we would pronounce this artist's name as Rico. It's kind of difficult to say for certain because it's the letter R, the number 1, a C, and then the number 0. So I'm assuming. So also, when you're looking things up on eBay, you got to do it both ways with the letters and numbers mixed, as well as just Rico, R-I-C-O, because that's how some people list it as well. So it can be a little confusing if you start to search for things related to this artist, of which we don't know, or at least I don't know, or couldn't find a clear picture to provide you. So we have to go with the Twitter handle pic that Rico provided as our only instance to see what the artists look like. That's it. I picked this book because I wasn't quite sure what to pick as the standout piece, but this was definitely one that kind of got a lot of collectors' attention because of the Iron Cat, and then this was an exclusive, an homage to another popular cover with the X23, that Delato. So a lot of things kind of culminated and came together on this one to make this take note in the community. That said, you can still buy the trade dress. These aren't hard to find, and don't get me wrong, I'm not here to kind of promote or talk up store variants or store exclusives, but I will say that this particular artist has a number of store exclusives. So we are going to start there just so I can show you the art and the artist style, so you can get a sense of that. Again, I'm not telling you to go out and buy any of these. Most of these you can still find, many of them even at their original shops. I believe it was like Unknown and Frankie's and a few others. Like, you can find these things out there. They're not terribly difficult to find, but the art is pretty cool if you're into it. But let's get into it. So we have this. Here's the trade dress version of it. Like I said, I didn't make this. This is the one that actually exists. And then there's some other exclusives that Rico has done, including pretty cool Nakayama homage there with the Strange Academy finals. It's kind of fun to see that homage. I don't know how I feel about an homage that's from a book that's only like a year or two old, but it's still kind of fun. And it's a nice little wink and a nod. And I believe he also pays tribute there with the after Nakayama bit there in the signature. Then we also got this pretty cool Elektra number 100. And then there's some other pretty good ones here. You got this, a number of amazing Spider-Man covers, but there's also this Spider-Verse, Gwenverse cover, which, much like the Miles, that it's kind of similar. I feel it's upside down. I mean, I know it's upside down because they're just showing the character and the cityscapes up, but I feel like it should be shown the right way. I don't know. I get it. That's how they do it in the trailer as well and all that, but it's just something innate feels wrong to me. So I feel like I want to flip it upside down. So that's why, if you looked at the thumbnail, I did flip it upside down because I feel she should be falling, not flying. But that said, a number of these Spider-Man exclusives, like a number of the, I think 616 has a bunch of these, but I don't understand, and I've said it a number of times, I don't see the need of why Amazing Spider-Man needs a store exclusive for basically every issue that comes out. But it seems that Rico has done a number of these, as we've got what is this, like number 3? And we got number 12 here, which is pretty cool. And granted, they're pretty cool covers. They're great art here. I like it. But it's almost like every damn issue here, like 14, 15, 17. Like there's just numbers of the galore here where these are store exclusive after store exclusive. You got trade dress and you got virgin versions, but the art is good. The art, I can't deny, I enjoy the art, but I don't have the wallet to afford buying all of these. You can't go $20 a pop for all the trade dresses, and then you're talking about $40 to $50 for sets if you want to get the trade dress and virgins. It's just not in my budget to do that for all of these books. So I got to pick and choose when I do the store exclusives, and I suggest you do so as well, because I still tell you, do not invest in store exclusives. I wouldn't say invest. If you want to buy them because you like it, and you like the art, and you want it, have at it. I do that all the time. That's up to you. It's your money to spend. But I don't think it's a wise decision to buy some of these with the hopes of just turning it around to flipping it down the road. Because as you can see, a lot of these are not sold out and can still be bought from the source. So investing is probably not the best idea for you if you're going to mess around with exclusives. Just buy the ones you like and the ones you want in your collection, and you'll be much happier for it. That said, I needed to show you those because that's the bulk of Rico's portfolio, basically, up to this point, is a lot of these store exclusives. So that's not all of them, but it's a good number of the ones that I found pretty easily. But from what I gather, his first work, and I'm going to say he, even though I'm not 100% certain, again, no pictures, I'm just going to say he in general, just because it's just habit. But Rico's first work, I believe, from what I've seen, is this White Fox, the Death of Doctor Strange, White Fox #1. This cover, I believe, is the first cover that I could find as far as going back to date-wise and seeing things that are attributed to Rico as the artist. This was released or noted as released in January, which means it technically probably came out in November of 2020, I think, because I think this was or 2021. It doesn't matter. It's very, very recent. Within the last year or two, most of this stuff has come out. But this would, I think, technically be the first work. So if you're out there hunting and you like collecting that sort of thing, I'm pretty sure this is it. So you can see this is still selling for, cover price, $4 to $6. Oh, all right. So yeah, it says 2021 there. So like I said, I think it was listed for January 2021, but the actual release date in the stores would have been 2 months earlier because that's, kind of how they work. Anyway, sold prices here or what's available, you can still see $3 to $4. It's still basically a cover price book. I'm not saying it should be any more than that. I'm just pointing it out. Because if you're interested in the artist, this is the piece that you can go and find for cover price or less. If you go out, hit your shops, and then you can even look there. It's $42. We'll get you a CGC 9.8 if you really want to get a graded copy. Now, another book that Rico has done is this 1 in 25 for Silk, which came just a couple of months after. I think this was March. This is March for that year. And this is from the most recent run of Silk, I also believe, the most recent 5-issue series. So this one is a 1 in 25, so it's an incentive book. And you can see it has sold for $20 to $35. All right, so right around that ratio, a little above, a little below. But that's mostly, the pricing. As far as also what's available is kind of in that same range, $25 to $30. So this one seems to have at least held right around ratio, which, is no small feat these days because there's plenty of ratios that are worth literally cover price when you go and look. Granted, there's plenty that do spike and hit the mark and people want and they go chasing. But for just a regular book like this, with not a lot of heat behind it, there's not like firsts or any other reason to go chase this Silk book because it's not her first appearance, it's not her first series. It's just another basically run of Silk. This is an interesting incentive if you're looking for Rico's work. Now, there are a couple other books, not many. As I said, there's not a big portfolio here to work with. A couple of other covers. These are like B, C cover type variants. We got this mech straight variant for number 3. It's like a Hulk mech. And then we got this I don't know why I duplicated the transition, but then we also got the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur from the most recent series as well, too. So these are a lot of new books. And there are some books still coming our way with Rico listed as the cover artist, including this Blade's Daughter, this Bloodline book, which is, I think, going to start next week. But issue 3 of the series already has an announced 1 in 25 that's going to have this cover here featuring Rico's art. And then there's also an Exterminator's. Again, here we go with the extra transition. Sorry for the extra motion, but then we have the Excellent coming as well, which is also pretty cool. And I think that's a Dead Girl from the old school Ecstatics. Pretty sure that's who that is. But the Excellent, this is a pretty cool cover as well. Now, you notice not a lot of market on those books because a lot of them are store exclusives. A lot of those are books that aren't even out yet, and many of them are just cover price or ratio price. So there's not a lot of like hidden things to really be found there. But I still wanted to point that stuff out so you guys had a good sense of who Rico is as an artist and get the kind of you eyeball the style, you can see it has a little bit of that, a little bit of art germ touches there, a little bit of that digital. Yeah, I mean, I guess mostly digital. Looks like it's mostly digital art. Though can't say that with 100% certainty, but that's what it mostly looks like to me. But that all said, that doesn't mean there isn't more out there that I think should still be a cover. So we are going to again piggyback and do a double dip into the artist retrospective with that should be a cover with that should be a cover, for Rico. And we're going to start off with this book right here. I believe I went to his ArtStation profile. Again, I'll have a link below to the places where you can see the artist's work. Again, this is just stuff. I'm just looking it up online, stuff that I like. I see things on IG, Twitter posts, what have you, things that catch my eye as far as artists go. And I go, you know what? That's really cool art. That should be a cover. And then I daydream and see what would be, what could be, and think about what ifs. And if this book right here, oh, I just knocked down Green Lantern. If this book right here, this DC book, sorry, Green Lantern, I guess that's why you got excited. This Harley Quinn book would look pretty cool with the trade dress. Again, I make these all up with the trade dress because I feel like it's the most real way to feel like it's an actual cover. So just an imaginary Harley Quinn book, which wasn't easy to find. Her current trade dress logo, by the way. I could find all the older ones, but the current one was a little tougher. That said, I think this would be a cover. If this were an exclusive, I might shell out a couple of bucks for this one because I kind of like this. I like this cover. So, or this art. So if this were a cover, I would think about buying this one personally. Now, going through his ArtStation profile, I saw this Joker bit as well. Pretty cool Joker piece, kind of coming right at you, reaching for you. Maybe it's not the creepiest Joker, but it does have that kind of classic Joker vibe to me. So I do kind of dig it in that sense. And I thought, you know what? This would work too as a cover. If this were a recent Joker book, like this current Joker, the man who stopped laughing, whatever. I just randomly picked that because it was the best trade dress I could find for this. But yeah, this would be a pretty cool cover. This would catch my eye. If this was on the shelf, this would catch my eye and it would probably get me to shell out a couple of bucks as opposed to, I think I skipped this, the man who stopped laughing series because I just wasn't that interested. But a cover like this might make me interested, which is why I make these things. Just hopefully somebody out there sees them and maybe we can see some of these artists actually get used and make some of these covers for us so we can get some, some work that will actually get us to open up our wallets and start spending on some of this stuff because there's a lot of art out there that's just not up to snuff. They're just too many variants, too many covers, and a lot of them are just not what they should be or what they could be. So that's also another reason why I do this. Because again, I'm a fan of art. I'm a fan of comic art. I'm a fan of comics in general. So this is just stuff I would love to see, including, well, it doesn't actually exist in the book, but I still thought this was a pretty cool Daryl Dixon. So just for fun, I threw him on, the current Walking Dead Deluxe book. Again, like I said, I know he doesn't exist in the comics in that run or anything like that. So this wouldn't make any sense, but it's still kind of fun to daydream and put this on a Walking Dead book. So again, just to give you an idea, if we got some sort of random Daryl Dixon, one shot or something, this might be something that we would see. And again, this is pretty cool. I like the perspective on this. I love the shadows. It's a pretty cool look to me. I know it has that little bit of an anime kind of vibe, which is again something I also like. So I kind of dig this. So this is my first image book. And then the next piece, I couldn't actually place. I was thinking, where could this go? This felt like something like Umbrella Academy type. This felt like a little bit of maybe an Ice Cream Man or something like that. And then just for, shits and giggles, I decided, you know what? This piece right here, we got a deep sea diver about to eat a fish. Well, the helmet's still on, but there's a skull underneath, wearing a t-shirt. I don't know, just an odd little piece. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to throw this with silver coin. Why? No real reason beyond I just thought this would make for an interesting cover. And if I saw this on a shelf, it would probably pique my interest into any series that it could be. And like I said, I could have picked any number of horror anthology type books and put this on there, and it could have alluded to some tale inside. But it was just a piece of art that, like I said, I liked. And I just imagined, what could we have if we were to put this on something? And this is what it would look like. Much like these other pieces, a lot of these artists that I see doing art online and doing art portfolios, they do a lot of fantasy stuff, which again, I'm a fan of. I like the D&D, the Lord of the Rings type stuff. I dig it. So when I see pieces like this, I just immediately just say, you know what? This is just cool art. Imagine if this was something Dungeons and Dragons related. And you know what? If it were, I probably would buy this thing. I don't know. I think this was called Dark Wizard or Black Wizard or something like that, or Sorcerer. I think that was the title of the piece. All I know is it was cool art. It looked cool. I thought it would make for a cool cover. And if it were a cover, I'd probably spend a couple of bucks on it. I'd probably put this on my pre-order, my poll, whatever it would be. I probably want this piece in my collection if it actually existed as a cover. Now, my final one is another piece. These, and a lot of these go back too. Like, these are old art from Rico from like 2015. Like, I believe a lot of these had like 2015 in the signatures and whatnot. But this next piece I thought was also cool. Granted, IDW no longer has the license to do these, but this is a pretty cool Transformers piece. I think this is Perceptor. Well, he's actually the camera, but they made him kind of like a sniper here in this. Looks like it would make for a cool cover. And if this were an actual cover, I'd probably go out looking for this thing and probably would go buy it if I could. And the piece itself is actually a wider screen look. So I just said, you know what? This is what it might look like here. But what if we looked at it more widescreen and made this a wraparound? We haven't done this yet in this series that I've been doing. That should be a cover. So this is what this would look like if this were a wraparound cover, which again, I would love it if the trade dress could be in that empty spot, the dead space, but then it wouldn't make sense as far as a wraparound cover goes to have the trade dress on the back of the cover, nor would I want this to be a fold out or gatefold, because then again, if it were folded up and all you saw was the rifle and not the Transformer, it wouldn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. I thought about flipping the image to make it go the other way, but I didn't want to change the image in the artwork all that much to reverse it, so this is what I came up with. So a wraparound cover, because again, this would make sense. It could have put a barcode or something on the back in that dead space so this way it can still be sold with the scanners and whatnot. So hopefully you found that interesting. Hopefully you guys still like this segment in the series. Again, feel free to recommend artists for me to look at. Again, I have a list of, half dozen to a dozen already of things that I think are worth doing, but I'm always open to suggestions. And if you guys give me something that looks interesting and feels like something I can do, I'll give it a try and I'll give it a shot. So remember, this is community. I want this to be more cooperative effort. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think and let me know what you want to see. And I will try to, provide that if I can, as long as it's something I want to do. Like, I'm not here to just do stuff I don't want to do. Like, again, this is my hobby. This is what I do for fun. I love doing this, but I still want to do things that I find interested in. So I can't guarantee I'm going to take your suggestion for 100% certainty, but I will consider it. If anybody out there who's already reached out to me already knows, hit me up with a DM. I'll respond. I'll take it under consideration. Now, that all said, let's move on to the rest of the show where we're going to hit up a couple of other categories, our normal fare kind of stuff. And this week, we're going to hit up later printings as our next little segment here. These are the second prints, third prints, fourth prints, whatever later printing that, that seems to draw my interest that you should be keeping an eye out for when you're digging in those boxes. And this week, I'm going to hit a specific run on Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man Big Time. This is issues number 648 through, I think, 651 or 652. There's like 5 issues here where they did second prints, and they all have, the second prints at least, have this big time, like, trade. I don't even know how to call it. I guess this is trade dress. It's just the layout of this, where the actual artwork is that tiny little bit down below, and then inside you have panels from inside the big time text. It's a pretty cool look, and it makes for almost like a poster kind of quality to these things, but they do kind of catch your eye, as far as that goes. So this is issue 648. I'm going to show you all of them. They all have, again, like I said, have this similar look, similar vibe. I want to give them full page spread, so I'm not, stacking them like multi as I do sometimes, because I want to give you a full appreciation, because again, you can only see the little bit at the bottom, and a lot of it just reads the big time, and you can't really make out the panels inside all too well if it was, too small. So I wanted to blow it up a bit. So you can Hobgoblin down below. This is 649. Again, these are all second prints. These are second printings. It's very clear on the front. It's Marvel second print in that red box. Black Cat, the spider armor. This is also where we get the first spider armor here in this issue. So this is another one. This is another reason why people go after this book, because of that. Even the regular issue, because they like this glowy spider armor. We saw that it's going to show up in Into the Spider-Verse. There's some Spider-Man wearing this glowy armor. Granted, that's probably all we're going to see is 3 seconds of him sitting there eating a sandwich or whatever it was. But, people like chasing books for whatever reason. They like chasing books. But that said, this is 650. Milestone issue, if you will. 651, we get a little bit of the same. We flip-flop the characters, but same 2 on the front there. And then the final issue in the run gives us a few of the villains here with Scorpion and I forget the other ones in there. Not Hive. I can't remember, but this is Amazing Spider-Man 652, the second print there. Now, I grouped these all together because by and large, they all kind of go for very similar amounts. Specifically here, I'm spotlighting 650, which is that spider armor, where you can see those sales for like 20 to 30 bucks. That's more on the high side. A lot of the other ones you can find more in that kind of like $10 to $15 kind of range as far as, the sales go. But there are some higher asking prices too, and especially if you can get them all together, because it's not going to be an easy set for you to pull together. Because while this was a popular run and this was a new arc, new story arc, and higher print run for a bit, as the story arc went on, print run dips. So why they kept doing second prints throughout the whole run, I don't know. Apart from the fact that they probably had this plan to begin with, and they decided, you know what? I think Marvel sometimes just decides, I don't care how many we sell, we're still going to do a second print because there's still regular copies on the shelf. So what do we need a second print for? We still have first print copies available at our stores. But that said, you can see here copies available anywhere from like $10 to $25, and then $250 somebody wants for the whole lot, the whole set. So I don't know if you can build one, maybe you can compete with that, but it's just not an easy set to go and gather. But still one, you should go flip it. If you're flipping through a box and you see something that looks odd, like this would stand out because it's not your normal Spider-Man cover with like the black cover. You don't even see Spider-Man at the top. You're like, what the heck's going on here? It should catch your eye and maybe give you some pause. And that's also how I found out about these. You see a cover, it just gives you pause, find out more about it, look into it. And that's what it did. And you can see, well, depending on what your store has it priced at, this could be something where you can make a few bucks if you want to go and find that hidden type gem to flip and make a few bucks, or find yourself a nice little book that's worth a bit more and paid less to add it to your own collection. Up to you how you want to collect. Now, from here, we're going to stick with this run on ASM, but kind of dip over to our other segment of variants. So we're going to hit up a couple of variants, not a ton, just a couple of variants. I'm going to hit up this Spidey run as well, just because it felt like, you know what, these kind of go together because we're talking about some of the same books. So might as well put these in the same segment rather than dragging this out and covering these like a few weeks down the road. So this is Brand New Day. So this is right before the One More Day, whatever, the bad day, whatever. This is right before. This is 647. So we got Brand New Day. No longer on sale 3 times a month. That's the other thing. You remember that? Spider-Man's coming out 3 times a month. Man, they were churning these things out. But this is a 1 in 20. I know this is on the higher end for what we normally do here, but Spider-Man's always been a bigger seller. So some of these higher ratio incentives, like 1 in 20s, 1 in 25s, are easier to find. As you notice, there's store exclusives for random Spidey issues. Spidey's always been one of Marvel's best sellers. I guess that's not 100% true, but for a good portion of his history, Spider-Man has been one of their best sellers. But this is a Steve McNiven cover for 1 in 20. You can see here, this book kind of sells for right around that ratio amount. Best offer on $23, $25 sale right there, raw. And then you can see asking prices in this one as well, anywhere from like $15 up to like $30. But most of them are in that $20 to $25 range, right around that ratio mark, if you can find it. This has a pretty cool cover. This doesn't look like McNiven to me. There's just something about that, the pose. It has more of a, no, it's not McFarlane, but you know what I mean? It's trying to go for that McFarlane type vibe, but it being Steve McNiven, I thought was kind of interesting because this is not normally what we see, or normally what I see out of Steve McNiven. But this is one to keep an eye out for in case, again, you're flipping through those boxes, you can find a variant there, here or there. 1 in 15 on this next book. This is going into big time. This is 648. This is also going in with that spider armor. Oh, yeah, this is the one I think that has the first spider armor. Not 650, it's 648, I think. I don't know. Sometimes I get the numbers mixed up. I know what the cover looks like, with him, the black suit and all, but that's besides the point. This is a 1 in 15 that you can find. This issue 648. You got some of the Avengers there in the background. Big Time is the story that came after Brand New Day. Again, you got Brand New Day, One Day, New Day. All that's gets confusing. I know, but Big Time 648. This is a 1 in 15. This is one you could find out there. Not a lot sell for this book, but best offer on $10 ain't too bad for 1 in 15. And then you can look at some of the asking prices there are a little bit more, surprisingly. It's $17 to $44 are the asking prices. Once again, a lot of them in that $20 to $25 range for this one as far as raw listings go. And this is a 1 in 15. So selling above ratio is not too bad. Well, asking price is above ratio. The one that actually sold is below ratio. Let's keep that in mind. Not a book that sells a lot, but who knows? Things draw interest. Again, we get another Into the Spider-Verse trailer or whatever that spotlights this suit of Spidey a little bit more than what we got already. This type of stuff starts selling. It's just the nature of the hobby, nature of the business. People see it, people want it, like immediate gratification. So if you go out there digging now, maybe you'll be prepared if that were to happen. Again, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not suggesting you go out there, start paying market prices for like these books in the hopes that you're going to spec and make a ton of money. And this $16.99 is a great price because look, it should be selling for $45 like the other one. Not saying any of that's true. What I'm saying is these are the prices. This is what people are asking. This is what it's selling for. You consider what you want to do if you find this book in your shop where you don't have to pay shipping, you don't have to pay, well, you might have to pay sales tax, but you know what I'm saying? You don't have to pay the extra cost of shipping and all that. Worry about the condition as it comes into you. You get to eyeball it in your shop, in your hand to know exactly what you're buying. So if you're buying something that's not 100% near mint or a 9.8 candidate, you know it right off the bat and you can see it, and then you can judge and decide to pay what you're going to pay accordingly, as opposed to gambling, taking that shot online, hoping that, oh, I'm going to get a 9.8. Look at it. They say it's a near mint online. You know, near mints could be a 9.2. Keep that in mind. They're not lying if you get a 9.2 and you're hoping to get a 9.8. Just be mindful of that. That all said, this same book also has a 1 in 25. So let's just look at it because it's also kind of fun. This is a Marcos Martin, 1 in 25. It's a wraparound, but I didn't get the wraparound image, which you can guess what's on the other side. It's more of the same, or the, mirrored version of the other side of him opening the shirt. But that said, no copies of this sold recently, which I thought was kind of surprising. Not even one. I figured it'd be like one, but nope, no copies. But there are a few available, and most of them are cheap. Most of them are like $15 to $18, like those two. And there's the random $65 ask, and some of those higher $40 to $50, even some around ratio. But there, from what I remember seeing when I was scanning, by and large, it was more in that under ratio. So keep that in mind too. So this is another one you might be able to find for cheaper than the 1 in 15 potentially, because it doesn't have that new suit on the cover, but it is a harder to qualify for. Let's say that harder to qualify for ratio, since it's the 1 in 25 as opposed to a 1 in 15. Now, also leaving this run, there's one more 1 in 15 that's kind of in that similar kind of range as far as incentives go. This is that Tron book. I did one of these on a short. I did the Tron books in a short recently. Hopefully you guys are enjoying those shorts. I have fun putting them together and trying to pick some music to put them out to. And it's just, I think it's just quick little content, quick little informative thing. Let you see some covers, let you see some books like that. And hopefully you're in toys too, since I'm going to be doing toys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Again, I'm going to keep soliciting comments and soliciting feedback because I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you think. Like, I get the occasional, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's great, but it doesn't give me actually anything to work with as far as context of what about it did you like or didn't like, more specifically. So if you didn't like something and you felt strongly enough to give that thumbs down, why don't you just put a comment and tell me why you think thumbs down? I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Just tell me what you think. It doesn't bother me. Maybe I can do something better. Or if not, maybe you just hate everything. That's also possible too. That said, this is a Mark Brooks cover, 1 in 15, Amazing Spider-Man 651. So it's right in that range of second prints that we just looked at. Not tied to those in any way, because it's more tied with the Marvel theme variant of the month, which was Tron. Pretty cool. I like it. Don't have this one, I don't think. I have a few of these Tron ones, but I don't think I have this one. And surprisingly, at least to me, despite it being 1 in 15, this thing sells. Look, $48, $55 raw sales, $230 for a 9.8 for this 1 in 15, mind you. 1 in 15, not like a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 25. Only a 1 in 15, but those are some solid prices. And the asking prices, again, not too shabby. 90 to $100 raw for this 1 in 15. So again, shops probably qualified for this. I don't know if there are any still out there or still there, but go check your shop and maybe they have this. Maybe they have this still priced at round ratio. Maybe it's $15. Maybe it's even $20. And you see these sale prices and these asking prices, that might be a good deal where it's at. So again, I don't know what you got near you. I don't even know everything I got near me. I'm going to keep looking for this stuff too. But this is the kind of stuff that I like looking for and putting on your radar as well. Just take a look for it. Take a look for it. Again, don't pay market. Look for cheaper. That's the whole point of this. I'm trying to give you the market so you know where you can buy under it. Just knowledge is good. I'm not going to keep any of this stuff secret from you. I think information is good for everybody to have so we can all make informed decisions when we're doing this stuff and going out there collecting, especially with our wallets. That said, done with variants, done with later prints. Now we're going to go back to a little bit more fun and hit up a little bit of nostalgia. And the nostalgia I have for you this week kind of ties with another phenomena, I guess we can say, is going on in the collecting community right now, which is a lot of those Dan Parent books, which I'm a fan. I like Dan Parent. I like the Dave Stevens homages because I like Dave Stevens. I think it's fun. There's also a number of other, books like that selling. So a lot of these Archie books are selling again. This is not the first time this has happened. This has all happened before. It will most likely happen again. This market, it's cyclical. Things come back around. And right now, Archie's coming back around. So while it is, let's look at some older things that you might be able to find out there. Not going to go way, way back to all those double entendre type covers and the classics from before, but even this run, like in the 20 teens, Veronica, the 200th issue, this is one that does, all right, in case you could find it out there. This is the kind of stuff that would be on weird spinner racks and just in these weird, kid boxes of stuff they have with like Flintstones and Power Rangers, because it's an Archie book. But it is Veronica, and it's the 200th issue. We're going to start here. And this book, I couldn't find one that actually sold recently, at least by itself. The other way to look for these things sometimes is in lots. And the only one I could find for this particular issue was in a lot with our next one. And it's only $20, which ain't too bad. And you'll see why as we look at these. So look for lots. Sometimes you find these random issues piled into lots, and that's another cheap way for you to find them. But like I said, I'm telling you, go keep an eye out for it at your shops. Go digging in those boxes, because I love this next cover. It looks like a tattoo. It's like good girl art. It just looks like a traditional tattoo of some kind, pinup art kind of thing. It's something I would see on Ink Master that somebody would put on somebody's arm. But this is a really cool cover. I do have one of these. This is issue 201. At a time back when these hit like the first go around or two, this started hitting like $40 at times, $50. Now it's softer. It's down more in that kind of $15 range. And then you can see one sold in a lot with some other Veronica books down there below for $22. So the prices come down. But like I said, this thing's cyclical. All it takes is the people start wanting this book for one reason or another and start chasing it, or somebody to do an homage to this cover, and then the original starts taking off. I mean, it's funny how predictable the market can be in that way. But that said, I just think it's a cool book, and that's why I'm showing it to you. Not because I'm saying, hey, go out there and buy it for $15, which, is a fair price from what I think. Because like I said, I think I paid close to that because I bought one of these near where it was at when it was at its height. Because like I said, I just wanted it. I didn't care. I wasn't buying it because I thought it should be worth more. I just thought it was a cool cover, and I wanted it in my collection. And I do got it, and I'm just happy to have one. And if I didn't, $15, I might consider it now if I didn't already have one, because that seems like a fair enough price for this to me. You make your own call. But that said, there's a 9.4 out there as well for like $90. I don't know where these things are going to go. All I'm saying is a lot of people are buying these Archie books, and it's just fun things to go and look for, especially if you can go and find them for cheap. And that's, again, what I'm telling you to do. Not telling you to buy market, telling you to go look for cheap. Issue 205 is another one that kind of stood out. Yeah, she's on the phone there, got the legs up, eating chocolates, whatever. Pretty cool. Kevin Keller returns, and, Kevin Keller kind of takes over the title after this for a little while. But I think this is his second appearance, if you care about that sort of thing. I don't know many people who do, but some people do collect the Archie first appearance, especially lately. Oh, it's first so-and-so. Like, that matters to a bunch of people, but people like collecting whatever they like to collect. They like to collect firsts or seconds or whatever. I think this is the second Kevin Keller. So if you want to collect that sort of thing, there's your reason to buy 205. I just think 205 is a pretty cool cover. Has kind of like a throwback kind of feel to it, as most Archie books do. You can see, hey, one sold in a lot with issue 205 for only $5 with one bid. Because again, nobody's looking for these things, so one bid is probably enough. That person selling it probably hoped to get a bit more. That's why they had it at auction and not as a buy it now. So they hope for more. They hope people are going to be fighting for this book. But there are copies available. Granted, you can see the copies available for this one are more in the $15, $20, $30 to $5 range. But they were taking a shot at auction, hoping to get more. But I'm telling you, go look in a box. Maybe you find this for cheap. Next, issue 206, I think is our next one. Yeah, so we got this kind of spy version. Got a Catwoman kind of vibe. Really cool. Kind of like a portrait. Almost like a trading card kind of vibe here with Veronica. And I think this is a cool book. This is another one to keep an eye out for. It does okay. And you can see there's another book it's going to tag team with. But this is like $20 that it sells for. And then it's in a lot with another book for almost $40. So it's like a $20 book as far as sales go. Asking prices go. There's one for $20. There's a pair for $50. There's another for $30. So $20 to $30 individual. And then, as I said, it's part of a tag team. It's part of a duo. Who goes with Veronica? Except, it's Betty and Veronica. And yes, there is a complimentary Betty cover for Betty 192 that also came out. And you can see these two look nice together. If you can get both books together, it's good to kind of pair them up. But the Betty 192 will be our last book for today, just kind of showing this one as well. Again, a lot of these sell in lots together with, that 206 Veronica, but some could sell individually on its own. Look, somebody bought one of these as cheap as $5, and another one sold for as much as best offer on 40. I don't know what the actual sale was for. Didn't feel like digging in that deep, but you get an idea. You get the sense. That's all I'm trying to give you is a sense. Not trying to be precise, because in a couple of weeks, these prices get stale anyway. But it's the ideas that are important. It's the ideas I'm trying to impart into you that are important. But this book is like 20 to 40 bucks. That's the asking price range right now. So, like I said, just like the other one, about 20 to 30 a piece, $40 to $50 for the set. That's what you're looking at. So if you can find these for cheap in your shop, cover price, less than cover price, maybe in the dollar bin, I don't know, you might do all right for yourself if you're trying to flip them. Or you find a cool book for your collection for very cheap too. However you want to collect, you do what you need to do. But that's it. That was our last book for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Like I said, I'm trying out some new things. I got a video game thing coming. It might have even aired earlier today. If I can get it done, I might even air that earlier today. That's kind of a little sneak peek preview. I don't know. But video game things, toy things, more comics, more pop culture, live shows on Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Having a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Check out the shorts. And with that, I will see you guys all later with some more content. All right. Bye.